Welcome, welcome. Another day, another EVSE. Let's get this thing open and see what sort of features we have. Well, after we unearthed it from enough air pillows to ship at least 5 of these, we get at least some indication of what's in the box. Looks like we have a level 2/level 1 EVSE with a 620 and a 515. So a 515 plug is a conventional 110 volt North American outlet. No frills, 15 amp circuit. 620, on the other hand, is a 240 volt, 20 amp outlet. So it kind of looks like the regular deal, except one of the blades is sideways. Looks like it is at least IP65 rated, which is at least dust and probably light splashing. So that's good. It means you could potentially use this outside. It is black, and we're going to have a J1772 connector, which is what every North American EV uses except Tesla since 2012. Always a nice touch. Get a little carry bag. Oftentimes in an EV, you keep your EVSEs above the trunk floor, or you keep them under the hood if you have that luxury. But it is nice to be able to cable manage them a little bit more and not just have a Medusa hanging around all the time. So it feels relatively chintzy, but it doesn't need to feel nice because it's only here to keep the cord from spilling everywhere. Let me get this all out of here, get this unbubble wrapped, and let's check it out. Well, it's unwrapped. The cord actually feels really, really nice. 450, it's actually a 750 volt rated cord. It's tube certified. So they spared no expense on making sure that that piece was good. The housing's got an interesting little applied texture to it. 2 LEDs. We have a type 1 J1772 connector there. We have the 620P. The P just stands for plug. R would be receptacle. And then we have the 620R to a 515P. So a couple of things in the instructions. It says to stop charging, disconnect the power from the outlet first, which is, don't do that. You press the lever on the top of the J1772, and that will tell the car to stop charging. However, back here, it says do not disconnect plugs while the EV charger is charging the vehicle. So a little counterintuitive there. Do not use in water. Don't use it in hauling or binding. Definitely don't do that. Other than that, everything looks pretty normal. Does have an entire page of what the blink codes mean if there is an issue, which is kind of nice. We'll go ahead and see how long the cord is right now. And yeah, after that, we'll actually try using it. So the actual cord is about 18 feet to where it terminates inside of the EVSE. And then it goes on to a total of 19 feet 10 inches if you're level 2 charging. And then if you're level 1 charging, you have almost 21 feet, which is pretty respectable. Some of these are as short as 16 feet, and that actually is kind of a hindrance, especially with a level 1, which I would consider this to be an emergency charger if you take it with you, or level 2. A 16 amp EVSE, level 2, can really do a lot of work over a full night. So we'll experience that a little bit when I actually get this plugged into an EV. We check out how much power it takes, this and that. So stay tuned. It's going to be in this video, don't worry. But I do want to cover all the things that I've covered before on AVSEs, which do matter. Worth noting, the cord on the actual plug end is not nearly as high quality as the cord coming out of it going to the EVSE head. That kind of makes sense because for shorter distances, you don't actually need as nice a cord. Something to do with resistance and how all that matters. You can actually have higher amperage through a smaller conductor for a shorter run. So it does make sense that this Changzhou Peinu Electron Company Limited cord would be higher quality going to the actual Type 1 connector. So that all does add up. The Type 1 connector is a very nice feeling micro switch. It does have a gasket seal in it. Pins look pretty decent, so I'm actually really happy with this. My juice box that I have at home, my level 2 40 amp, is not ideal. There is also an eyelet here where you could lock this so it can't be used or unhooked if you're traveling or something like that. That's interesting. I haven't seen that before. It's actually kind of nice for a home charger. Okay, Okay, I waited until I finally had an adapter so I could show you both level 1 and level 2 charging out of this at the same time. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off just there. I'm going to start with level 1 charging, which of course means using this built-in adapter, which is a NEMA 515, I believe, P. Then we have a 620R. Just going to snap that together, plug that in, and we will go throw this into my EV, and let's see what it says. So here we have level 1, and this is actually kind of interesting. So the built-in EVSE, or not the built-in, but I guess the one that my car ships with, has a 515 on it, and it actually limits the current to 12 amps, which is smart. But what this is doing, it's actually charging at 15, which is only safe if you have it plugged into a 20 amp outlet. That is worth keeping in mind. So if you do buy this and you're planning to use it for level 1 and you don't have the ability to dial it back to 12 amps in your car, I would be a little wary, because this is either going to burn out your outlet, cause a fire, or trip your breaker. So again, be wary of that. Let me plug this into 240 and see what shows up, but that's an interesting development for sure. By the way, for the reference, this is what level 1 charging looks like, a solid green light. And here we have it hooked in through a 1450 to 620 adapter, 240 volts, and we see a gently strobing green light. No errors, which is good. Let's hop into the car app and see what it says. Impressive. I'm not sure why it's limiting out at 15 amps on both circuits. If that's built into the EVSE, I'm not a huge fan, but if it's the car limiting, I guess that's okay. Either way though, 4 kilowatts. You can see the time remaining to charge. That was 4 hours and 55 minutes before. Now it's 1 hour, 55 minutes. So that's significantly better, and all with the same supply equipment. So it does work, but my concerns, I guess, would be, can I get the full 16 amps out of this if I have a suitable connector and 240 volts? And is there a way to dial this thing back to a forced 12 amps at level 1 just to protect the plug? Okay, brief but final thoughts, and I'll leave a link to this in the Ovalbore Tech video, but maybe not necessarily in the product page. The Shockflo Level 1, Level 2 EVSE, I am used to 32 to 48 amp EVSEs, and it's winter. So the things I really do like, high grade cable, much thinner gauge. This is much easier to work with in the cold. The seal inside of this J1772, I grant it's brand new, but it is the most robust I've felt so far. So I'd have no issue using that in very wet environments. It seems like it's sealing really well. The lights are, I don't know, the rest of this is very much no frills. The quality of the lead cord is meh. It's nice that it comes with the adapter so you can use it with 110. I think it's actually a more impressive level 1 EVSE than it is an impressive level 2, because you can't get 16 amps out of it at 245 volts. However, as an emergency charger to keep with a lot of versatility, this is very lightweight, doesn't take up much space, comes with a carry bag, just leave it under your floor. Pretty good. You can do an awful lot of range replacement with level 2 on a 15 amp, even a 15 amp EVSE overnight. I mean, it's really impressive. You could probably completely fill a 45 or 50 kilowatt hour battery overnight with this on level 2. On level 1, be careful. But if you are sure you have a 20 amp breaker, 12 gauge wire, and all the rest of your outlet and circuit are in healthy condition, this is actually great. I've never seen 2 kilowatts on an EV out of 120 volts. So be very, very wary if you don't know, or if you have a 15 amp circuit, because this might cause some damage. But if you have a 20 amp 120 and all you're doing is level 1, this will add 25% more range per day easily than a standard bundled level 1 EVSE. So those are my thoughts. It seems like a totally fine product. It does have a couple of caveats. I've covered them here. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, but there's that. Thanks for watching.